What's up? It's George the Fragrance Apprentice. Allure Sport, Acqua di Gio Profumo and Apprentice all will probably, most likely, get you compliments. This is a fact, this is something that we know, and this is something especially for somebody like me who has been in this for a long period of time. I'm actually sort of set in my ways of what will get you compliments and what will not get you compliments. I even did a video on this called Do Fragrances Even Get You Compliments? But every now and then, especially for somebody like myself who has a wide variety of fragrances, including a lot of niche and a lot of indie and a lot of off-the-wall, very dark and gritty fragrances, sometimes I will get very positive feedback, positive compliments, even sometimes to the bewilderment of myself, in which I'm going, hang on a minute, how has this happened? So this video idea actually I originally believe came from Dallas, from Chaos Fragrances. I'm quite a fan of his channel, but that really got me thinking when I saw his video on this subject, because I have got some very, very weird and very, very strange, very niche fragrances that yet, against all odds, might I add, have gotten me some solid compliments. So I've got 7 fragrances here, and I'm going to do it like a volume knob. Number 1 is going to be, alright, that was unlikely, but I can see why that would get me a compliment if I really think about it, all the way up to number 7 in this list, where I'm just like, could have fooled me. I would never have been able to predict that fragrance, that wild fragrance, would have gotten me such a positive comment or be seen in such a positive light. So we're going to really sort of go up a gear via each fragrance. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 is from the house of Rainier. No, it's not Kisses Rain. It's actually not Bahique, which maybe some of you were thinking. No, it's somewhere in the middle. This is Oud Rain. This is a mango, oud, tropical, fruity fragrance. If I'm honest, it's not that this has had just compliments. I've mentioned this before. This can actually get me a very, very explosive reaction from people when I wear this. I can get people who really do not like it on me and tell me to not wear it, and they're equally people who really love it. So it's quite a Marmite. It's a tropical mango oud fragrance, and if you are interested at all or whatever, you can go down in the description. I've still got the coupon for Rainier perfumes going. You already know that. But Oud Rain with Rainier perfumes is a very, very unique fragrance in their catalogue, and it's something that I really enjoyed myself and really love and I wear for myself. But then I did start to get reactions, and some of them were negative, but I have had some really positive reactions. I've had some reactions that are very strong towards this fragrance. People really do like it. But it's got mango, it's got fruit, it's got a bit of that citrus, it's clean in that way, so I can see why it would probably get some compliments. Number 2 is from the House of Creed. These first 2 you've heard me mention many a time before, and then it sort of all goes a bit wild. Then we go into some uncharted territory, as we say. So this is Creed's Royal Oud. It's smoky, it's peppery, it's oudy, it's woody. We all know about that. It's something that I would not have necessarily thought, especially in Creed's catalogue, to get comments and compliments, but I've had some very, very strong comments about Royal Oud. People say that it makes me smell very mature, makes me smell very grown up, all that good stuff. And it is, and it's very powerful, it's very confident, and this will, you know, once you think about it for a while, you can understand why people and women would react in this way, because it's very, very masculine, it's very powerful, it's very strong. Number 3, we do start to ramp it up a notch, where I'm starting to think to myself, okay, this is less likely to have gotten me a compliment, but yet it does. This is from the house of Tom Ford. This is Noir. Now, I've raved about this fragrance. I really enjoyed Noir by Tom Ford. I think that it is a very, very good fragrance. But because it's got this heavy, floral, dark, musky, graveyard-like, gothic type of smell, it's not something that I would stereotypically think that anybody would comment on, because in a way it's quite melancholy. It has a sort of a sad, almost depressing vibe to it. But I've had a couple occasions, I wore this on a couple nights out when I first got it, which was a million years ago, and I do remember people actually commenting and saying, oh, you smell nice and you smell good, and one person did in fact describe it as sensual. So that's pretty cool, and it was a woman, of course. Number 4 is a fragrance that I hate bringing up mentioning, because The shop at the moment to buy this is not available. It will be available in December, but it's just too good, and I'm trying to be honest with you here and be genuine. This is from the House of Strangers. This is SM Cafe. I got this in April. I even got complimented on it when I was at Essence. Think about that for a second. I was wearing this at Essence, where there were 10 billion fragrance houses, with so many different fragrances wafting everywhere. I actually had some comments and compliments from brand owners of other fragrance houses who were trying to sell me their fragrance and trying to showcase that their fragrance is the best in the world. They even gave me some nice comments about SM Cafe. And you know who gave me a really, really solid compliment? A really good compliment? The man himself, Jeremy Fragrance, gave me an unsolicited compliment on SM Cafe. So, and he's the guy, he's the hype monster. He only likes fragrances that smell good. So I don't know, I mean, if that isn't a good statement on SM Cafe, I really don't know what is. Number 5, now we're getting to the point where I just don't understand. I really am like, okay, what is going on here? You know, what's going on? Why are people commenting and complimenting? This is from the house of Frederic Mal, and it is Musk Ravageur. Now, in the old community, there was a certain man who really, really was like, this is amazing, this is sex in a bowl, this is sensuality, and we all fell for it and we all bought it. I'm not, when I say fell for it, I don't mean as though he was, you know, trying to deceive or anything like that, but we all bought in. Everybody bought into the hype of this fragrance, and then people smelt it, and they were like, this is like medicinal cream that you put on wounds, or like, it smells so wildly medicinal and not very pleasant, and it's got this clove note, and it is very, very intense. It's really quite something, and I have my ups and downs with Musk Ravageur. There are some years where I'm like really into it and I'm like, okay, I really get it and I understand, and then there are some days when I'm like, no, this is too black, it's too much, I don't get it. But I have had some strong compliments, and one time when I brought this into a store that I was working at, there was one woman that was like, that's really good. And I've had, this seems to really resonate with like older people, older women, women in their late 30s, women in their 40s, people like that really enjoy Musk Ravageur, and I think that's probably because it has that kind of old school 1980s, even that sort of the medicinal quality that the 1980s fragrances had back in the day, with this kind of like cocoa-y sort of gourmand-like thing in the background, and the sweetness with the cloves. Number 6 is a fragrance that in the real world, this has gotten me quite a lot of comments, and this has gotten me a good amount of attention. But in the fragrance world, in the world of Fragrantica, in the world of YouTube fragrance community, nobody talks about this, and people say that it smells almost like, I don't know, there was something that Tyler from TM Sense once said, and he put it really well, but it doesn't smell like stereotypically appeasing, but it has got oak moss, and it has got elements that are very attractive and very masculine, and all those kinds of things. So I get why people like it, but the more that actually I got into other people's opinions and fragrance reviewers' opinions, and the more they talked about it and the more they described this fragrance, the more I started to question, why does this get compliments? It actually has a very, very bold and difficult smell. This is KWacha by Acqua di Parma. This has been a real compliment getter for me. I don't... How do I spray this? And what it has is, yeah, some people find it a bit toilety. Some people find it a little bit urinal cakey in the land of fragrance and in the land of fragrance reviewing. But I think that it's absolutely... But it's got this oak moss and this lemon, and it reminds me a little bit of Halston Z14, and it also really reminds me of Italian Cypress by Tom Ford. It's not the same. Italian Cypress had a really sort of chocolate minty gourmand quality at the end. This doesn't have that. This is more about woods and you know, oak mossy elements. But this is something that isn't really talked about. This is something that hardly gets the time of day, and if I'm honest, it's mostly Aqua de Palma's own fault, because they release so much that everybody just kind of gets lost in what they're releasing. But KWacha is a legitimate compliment getter. KWacha is legitimately something that I wish that we talked about more, and I'm happy to do a review on it, but nobody's going to watch it because nobody's heard of it, you know, and that's the real problem. So maybe I should get a review out of this one time. Okay, so we're at number 7, and the first 6, well, the first 2, 3, I totally get. Those past 3 that just came, I'm quizzical. I'm like, that's not really what I expected. But this one, I'm like, okay, I'm a head out. I don't know. I can't explain this one. I cannot explain how this gets compliments. And I'm not saying it's a bad fragrance. I love it. I personally love the hell out of this fragrance. I think it's a phenomenal fragrance. But to me, this is like a work of art. It's like I'm wearing a painting. And I put this on for testing and spraying. I got like 3 compliments in a day, and they were like, wow, what are you wearing? That's amazing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What? And so that was like, for me, enough. That's the only day that I've ever had compliments with this fragrance. But to have 3 unsolicited comments from 3 different people about this fragrance, to me, it deserves to be in this book, because there is no logical reason why this would get compliments at any stage of the game. This is from the House of Zoologists. Just the fact that it's from the House of Zoologists alone is wild. But it's this one. It's not bat or anything like that. It's Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes, I have had compliments and I have had nice comments, warming, cozy comments about T-Rex, saying, oh, that smells very warm, it smells very cozy. This is an absolute bomb. I'd say that in my collection right now, this fragrance is the loudest that I have. This is just so domineering, so excessive with its performance. So I remember the first time that I wore this, I actually light incense sticks every now and then, and I put this on, and 4 hours in, I was like, have I left an... is there an incense stick burning? But it was me. I smelled like I was burning, like my flesh was freaking burning. It's a very, very powerful work of art. It's absolutely amazing. It's everything that I love in my fragrance. It's everything I want out of a fragrance right now in my collection, where I've basically done a lot of the designers. I understand like the niche fragrances and the designer fragrances and the compliment getters. And even though I come back to them and I enjoy them, this is kind of where I am with my collection right now, where I'm wearing this kind of stuff. It's really powerful, really potent. But yes, people have reacted really well. And people react quite well to it in this weather, cold weather. Now, am I saying to you, right, you boy, go and blind buy TRex from Victor Wong. Go! Don't do that. That would be preposterous. I don't know if it's something to do with the way that this reacts to my skin, but this is, bar none in my collection, the single most unlikeliest fragrance that I would have ever imagined getting a compliment. This is TRex by Zoologist, by the absolute genius and Renaissance man, Victor Wong. So there you go. I would love to know in the comment section, what has been some of your most unlikeliest fragrances that have still got you comments, that have still got you compliments? I think it's a really interesting topic, because we all talk about the fragrances that we know that are going to get compliments, but that isn't the full side of the story, because there are always exceptions to the rules. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you got the information that you wanted, and if you enjoy my content, please hit a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe. Thanks so much. I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out.